What do you think is like another objection that people are constantly bringing to the table that we could sort of like talk about and crush?
One of the objections that people have is it doesn't taste good, right? I think that you and I know that this way of eating is, to me, it's the most flavorful way of eating on the planet. Plants are the bomb when it comes to their texture, their color, their their flavor, and it may be a little nuanced, especially at first. But what happens is you develop a palate when you try something. When you go back to trying something that's over salted or over sugared or over oiled, it it tastes kind of revolting. And it's, these companies are making these foods because they want it to be hyper palatable for us. And so our all the receptors in our brain go off like a pinball machine, going, oh my God, that was incredible. And, but once you know what they're trying to do, once you have taken back your palate that's been hijacked by big food, you can see very, very clearly exactly the game they're playing and what's going on. And you go back to that food and it just tastes really revolting and kind of disgusting. The fact that people think this food doesn't taste good, it's just their preconceptions. They have no idea. Now, I will say, Cyrus, and this is, we're talking about whole plant-based foods here. We're not talking about the diet cheeses or the Impossible burgers or the Beyond Meat burgers, because those are foods that, as people that are trying to reclaim our health, those guys are just too high in salt, sugar, and fat. And they're plant-based, yes, but they're kind of plant-based junk. And for some people, it's a nice transition food. But for us on the Plant Strong plan, for you guys on the Mastering Diabetes bandwagon, it's not in our wheelhouse.
Yeah, so let's talk about that here for a second, because I think a lot of the times, on one hand, I would say it's a good thing in general that there's a lot of like plant-based products, I'll call them, on the market today. Whether you want ice cream or crackers or waffles or burgers or things that taste like milkshakes but have no milk in them, there's so many different options, right? But on the other hand, I think one of the things that it does is it sort of allows people to, or it forces people to think that when you eat a plant-based diet, that it's okay and that it's actually normal to include those types of products in your diet. And your average person doesn't really know how much of those are going into their mouth on a daily
Yeah.
basis. And they might think like, oh, I have like a couple of crackers a day. That's it. A couple of crackers, maybe a spoon of ice cream. And then when you actually look into it, you find out that like you're not eating a couple of crackers. You're probably eating, 15 crackers. You're having way more than a couple of scoops of ice cream. You also had a plant-based burger. You're also eating some, processed bread. There's a whole collection of processed products which end up in your diet, even though you're not rationally and cognitively aware of the fact that they're there, right? So your products, as an example, you have an Engine 2 brand, which has now been rebranded to Plant Strong. So show the products on the screen and give people an idea of where can they buy these and why are your products actually, they're not processed. Why? I mean, they come in a package, but are they the same as Mary's Gone crackers or any other, thing that comes in a package that says plant-based on it?
No, in 2021, the amount of products that are entering the plant-based space is phenomenal. And so we have to learn how to become label reading ninja warriors, because everywhere you turn, there's going to be a new plant-based offering. And chances are it does not meet Mastering Diabetes guidelines or the Plant Strong guidelines or Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease guidelines. And you're right. Just because it comes in a package, box, or can doesn't mean that it can't be healthy for you. And I really learned from one of the masters, Jeff Novick, when it came to what you want to look for when it comes to a healthy packaged, boxed, or canned product. And we've taken that to heart at Plant Strong. And we do our best to follow those guidelines with salt, sugar, and fat. So I'll give you an example. So for example, this Rips Big Bowl cereal right here, right? So we turn it around here, and you can see we got 200 calories per serving. We got 2 grams of fat. There's roughly 9 calories in a gram. We want to keep our fat intake below 25%. And so you do the math on that, but let's just call it 20 calories out of 200. That's 10%. So we got 10% of our calories coming from fat. Cyrus, got the thumbs up on that one?
100%. Yeah, I'm following everything you're saying here.
And then when it comes to the sodium on these guys, so the guideline is we want to keep the sodium as close to possible in a 1-to-1 ratio with the number of calories per serving. And that way we know we're not going to go over that 1,500 milligrams of sodium. We're staying under the 1-to-1, and we're way under it. We're at 50. Actually, let me think. Yeah, 60 milligrams. So we're great there. And then when it comes to added sugars, right, we want to make sure there's no added sugars. And you can see here we have some naturally occurring sugars that are going to be obviously in the dates and the raisins, but we don't have any added sugars. No, we don't have any brown sugar or molasses or maple syrup or anything like that. And you can see it says 0. So when it comes to fat, sodium, and sugar, those are the 3 biggies that you want to look for. We're totally golden on the Rips Big Bowl cereals. Then when it comes to, we're launching these chilies and stews that are they're literally like heat and eat one-stop meals right here. This Firehouse chili, you've got 180 calories per serving. You can see the total fat is 1 gram, so that's 10 calories out of 180. Cyrus, you do the math on that. That's about 5%. 6% of the calories coming from fat. So that's pretty good. And then our sodium, well, look at that. It's 180. So we're exactly in that 1-to-1 ratio that we want to be. And remember, you're going to eat this whole thing, and so you're going to get 370 milligrams of sodium. But if this is the only thing you eat out of a package, box, or can, and you got 370 milligrams here, and then you're going to also have some sodium that's in your sweet potatoes, it's in your spinach and all that, and you'll probably have another 300 or 400 there, you're going to be well under that 1,500 milligrams of sodium. And then when it comes to added sugar, we have 0 grams of added sugar there. And then we always look at the ingredients to make sure that we don't have any hidden oils there or something like that. And I can tell you that everything in here is totally clean. And we've also got a white bean. We've got a white bean chili as well. And we've got a Indian lentil stew. It's called a khichdi. That's absolutely divine. And we just came out with some broths, right? This is a sofrito broth. These, Cyrus, for anybody that's watching their sodium intake, the lowest amount of sodium of a commercialized broth on the market. We have no added salt. It's only naturally occurring. So all of our broths, and we've got 4 of them, have either 10, 15, or 20 milligrams per serving, whereas most brands have anywhere between 220 and 780 milligrams per serving. So these are they're very innovative, and they're very much differentiated from anything else that's out there. And if you're looking for a snack like popcorn, this is no salt added, no added oil. So the only thing in there is the popcorn, right? No added sugar, no added oils, no added sodium. So
go back to the sodium. You're saying your products contain between 10 and 20 grams of sodium per serving versus many conventional products which have between 200 and 700 milligrams
per serving,
of sodium.
Per serving, yeah. And so these, everything I've just shown you, Cyrus, all these products, or these guys right here, these 8, these broths, chilies, and stews, these are available right now at Whole Food markets across the country. And then everything else, the granolas, the cereals, the pizza crust kits, the popcorn, those are available online at plantstrongfoods.com. But we specifically decided to play ball in the broth broths, soups, chilies, and stews space because we knew we could differentiate ourselves there, because those products are typically so heavy in salt, so heavy in sugar, and so heavy in added oils. So this is why we're so excited about, this new offering that we have